All right. Hey, you know him. You love him. He's back. Mr. Bill Grundler, the Wolverine. We love you,
Hi.
dude.
Hi.
So glad you're here.
It's so good to see
Hi.
your face.
Hi
I
to
put that in
everybody.
the chat too. Hi.
So everybody feels like you personally said hello to them now
There you
that
go.
it's in the
I try to
chat.
do.
Like
I
it's
try to do
official.
that.
It's
Even
official.
even on like my show with me and Chase, like because Chase is usually late by like a minute or 5 or 10, whatever. So I'll get on the chat and I start talking with everyone ahead of time.
Yeah.
I was like in there, hey, what's going on, guys? And hey, what's this and that? Hey, what do you guys think about this? Hey.
Yep. Yep.
So
I
it's
always think like that's such a skill. I don't know how you do that. I can't type to the chat and like I can answer the chat as I see it pop up, but to type, talk, read, I can't do that. So
well,
good on
that's
you.
hey, that's way before we get on air. That's because, like I said, Chase is late. So if
Oh,
Chase
okay,
is
okay.
late, I can get in there and talk. But then after that, it's really hard. It's really hard.
So I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell you this funny story. So Wad Zombie with mint training cards.
Yeah.
He was super nice, and I ordered like the pack that he has, and then like 6 like specific cards, and he sent me like 50 cards because
So many
so
cards.
yeah, because he knows that my kid is autistic and likes stats, so he
Yeah.
loves to read the stats on the back of all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So we got yours,
Look at that.
So excited. Yeah.
So silly.
right? But
So
when we
silly.
get Chase's, he knows Chase and he knows what Chase's name is, but his brain won't let him say Ingram.
Yeah.
So he's just running around with the card all day saying Chase Instagram. Because
Everyone messes up his name anyway, so he gets. You know what's funny is I know everyone has a hard time saying, Ingram. They always want to say Ingraham.
yeah.
But what's crazy is, it stopped me in my tracks. So we were watching the games. I was coaching. We were watching the games. It was on in the background, and Chase will get going with such speed that I didn't even recognize his voice, like his name when he said his name. I'm like, what did you just call yourself? Did you just say Ingraham? I don't know. Maybe I got to go back and check that one out. I don't know. But it's right. It's a weird name to say for whatever reason. I don't know.
I hear you.
It's a trip. Those cards are cool though. Like,
They are very cool.
man,
They're super fun.
yeah, I was stoked that he made those, and I'm stoked to even be part of that. It's cool.
I think it's really cool for the sport. You know what I mean? Like every sport has trading cards. Like everybody has it. So for the idea to have these cards, I think is so cool.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Dude, we were just talking off air and all 3 of us got on and we were just like,
big breath.
Big deep breath. Relax. It's been
one of those weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks or whatever.
Nobody said anything. I was just like, hi. And we're like, it was just, we all felt the same way.
What? It gets, one, there's just been some gnarly shit that's gone down, obviously. And then everyone is forced to walk around on eggshells because you don't know. I mean, didn't we just already do this like 4 years ago? Like where you walk around, you don't know how to walk around, you don't know who to say, what to say, and man, we're right back in, and we're now in our microcosm of that, of things that are obviously bad, emotional, charges and reactions, and what side of the line are you on? And now, even with all the PFAA stuff, like what side of the line of that are you on? And it's dividing. It's dividing our group, and that just sucks.
Man, I was gonna talk about this, but I think the same thing. And even like in our entire country, it just feels like that. You have to pick which side of the line you're gonna be on. And not like, hey, do you like Michael Jordan? Or do you think Michael Jordan's the GOAT? Or do you think LeBron's the GOAT? Because I can say LeBron, you can say Michael Jordan, because I know you would never say LeBron, because that would be blasphemy if you did. But we could still go have like, I'll still text you later and be like, yo, bro, what's up? What are we doing? Where are we going? When are we talking? Whatever. Where now, and a friend of mine tried to help me, and I'm very grateful to her. She tried to help me flesh this out yesterday. And it feels like it's because there's morals and values attached now to what side of the line you got to pick.
I would say, anytime, especially, if there's a death, I mean, obviously that is the most emotional, heated topic you could come across, right? Like life and death. Like when they try to make something a big deal, it's like, oh, it's a matter of life or death. Well, this was that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to have a rational decision or a conversation when it is heavily charged with emotion, because emotion is, I mean, it's a reaction. It's not a response to, it's a reaction to. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm just saying that I think that that's the general, like when everything went down, I mean, it didn't matter what side you were on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a side. It was just like a tornado that ripped through, and confusion and disbelief and anger and sadness and trying to stay normal and feeling bad that you're trying to stay normal, because what are you doing trying to stay normal when something normal didn't happen? It's crazy. But I don't think that, I don't feel that the situation is something where it's like, okay, we're now deciding who the next person is to die. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's that. And
yeah.
And
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like that to me would be like, if you're talking like morals, like that's morals. Like, okay, well, all right, well then who's next? That's the side, like that would be, okay, where we really need to get nasty. Now that's not to, you know, in whatever stuff we talk about. And I think that this is something that, you know, that everyone has to preface just for the sake of making myself feel better by saying it. There's, like, it was a tragedy. It was bad. It was sad. There's nothing that can bring that can bring, you know, Lazar back and all of that stuff. And that, all of that is true. The weird thing for me, honestly, is that, and maybe this is because I did fire for so long, is a couple things. Fire, split up families, dealing with exes and you know, kids on X, and where everything is like, a lot of things are very emotional anyway. Like, I've seen a lot of death in my career. I've seen it. I've watched people take their last breath. I've seen people like go out in really, really ugly ways. I've seen things that should have never happened, but did happen. Didn't need to happen, but still did happen. But things still have to, but you still got to continue. So I have gotten way better than I probably wish that I was at compartmentalizing things. And it's a protective measure,
for sure.
So that I can continue to do the things that I need to do. But at the same time, I mean, it doesn't always, it's not always a plus, because like when you compartmentalize your emotions like that, you compartmentalize your emotions. Like it's not one of, you don't compartmentalize just anger. Like if you're compartmentalizing, like they all get compartmentalized. So, you know, love gets compartmentalized and empathy gets compartmentalized, because you just can't let the things out. And I mean, and I saw Laura was in the chat here. I mean,
yeah,
back
Laura.
back in our early days, you know, one of the things that I needed to learn in our early relationship was, okay, if I'm going to box all my stuff in, that means no one gets my love, and I don't let anyone's love in either. So I mean, like, there's a lot of like the negative stuff that goes along with that. So just saying that.
Little blush. A little blushy blush.
Yeah, I know, totally. But you know, so I think that my take on it when all this stuff went down was, I instantly kind of go into like work mode, which is there's no emotion to anything. Like I don't put an emotional tag on anything. It's like, okay, well, what happened? Why did this happen? Okay, what would be the next step to continue on? So like, you know, when I think I was on Sevon's show that day, and he asked me, he's like, what do you think? Should it go on? And I'm like, personally, yeah, I do think it should go on, because I wasn't of the stance that if it continued to go on, that was snubbing our nose to what happened. I mean, in my point of view, and granted, this is solely my own perspective, as a guy that was an athlete, that's what Lazar did. Lazar competed at the games, and he put however many 5 years of actual, being there and putting his time in, where that's his life, is that. And all the other athletes that are there, that's their life that they are in for that competition. So yeah, tragic, 100%. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, let alone anything worse than that. But, and not to say the show must go on, but let's continue celebrating what it is that everyone is doing, which is they're competing in fitness. So, okay, that to me doesn't take away from the fact that, like, okay, obviously there was a mistake somewhere. There was a weak link in the chain, or there was a human error that occurred for something like that to go down. And I really think that that's a super sad thing. But, I was glad that they continued. I knew it would be hard.
It's always hard.
It was hard that the programming wasn't really all that spectacular too. But
yeah, we heard your thoughts and opinions on that. We heard
but
that.
I mean, that happens sometimes. It happens sometimes.
I want to get back more to compartmentalizing things, right? I mean, Colleen and I went through something not like this, but a couple of years ago, we were at dinner with friends and my kid, and a guy got hit in the street in a car. And there was a woman out there doing CPR, and she just looked like she was tired. And I was like, hey, if I can help you, let me know. And then I jumped in and started doing CPR too. And but I don't even, it was just until the ambulance got there. I don't even think that he was actually, like, I don't think he was alive.
Yeah.
At the time. And when I got home, I cried for about 30 minutes. And then I went, well, and I have to go take care of my kid now, and I have to go help and be in the house and whatever. I don't feel like that makes you unkind or not empathetic or not, does that make sense?
No, totally. But okay, but so and I appreciate that. The difference is, for me, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that I'm like this. I'm just thinking it's now that I'm aware of it, especially aware of it. And I'm not Sevon. He's the uglier, older version of me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, why you always got to disrupt stuff and things? Jake's up there too. I'm going to get to you too, Jake. Hold on.
So you got a taste of it. And now when that's your job, where you always have to do, I mean, that's why, I mean, everyone, they talk about the dark humor that, like, cops have and firefighters have and military people have, because of the stuff that you're not supposed to see. That's
Right.
not normal stuff, but you're the person that sees that on a regular basis. So you start, I mean, I don't know if the community wants to hear it or not, but, like, when on scene, within the realm of the people that are actually doing the scene, there is usually all kinds of really funny conversation that's going on when someone is dying, like, or dead or whatever. Like, I have all kinds of funny stories where we're, cutting down people that have hung themselves and things that have happened when we're putting pads on people and shocking them, where, I have a new firefighter that's never seen someone be, like, actually shocked before. And the person, like, lurched so hard that they kind of sat up and it freaked him out. And he's like, whoa, thinking that they were all of a sudden back alive. Or we cut someone down that was hanging, and tried to hang himself and cut him. It was a surf leash, so it stretched, cut it, and it slipped through his hands, and the guy's head goes wham on the ground. And I'm like, hey man, he doesn't feel it now. Like, get to work here. Like, that kind of stuff, because you got to have that sort of a mentality.
And in my mind, I'm like, I can't laugh right now.
Right.
In my head, I'm like, no, you can't laugh at
See, but when I talk to people about, like, I'm laughing, I was there. I mean, I was glad there wasn't a lot of other people around. I mean, we weren't around a lot of public people, so it's not like we're laughing when that's happening. But at the time, like, we were cracking up, and that's, I mean, it's sad to say, because it makes it seem like it's a very impersonal thing. We were doing all of the work, but the thing is that if you get wrapped up Like that will not just slow you down if you all of a sudden get stuck into what is actually happening.
It'll paralyze you,
It's
right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was kind of my thought process in all of this. Because I feel like that it's not just you grieve differently than I do.
Yeah.
It's like personally attacking you for grieving differently than I do.
Well, didn't we see that at the games anyway? How dare these people raise their hands up and cheer? How dare they do the wave? Don't they know what just happened? Of course they know what happened.
Yeah.
Of course they know what happened. That's why when some people, it's hard because the way that I was punished when I was a kid was way different than people punish their kids now. But when your son or whatever gets in trouble, what do you guys do? Do you like put him in timeout or like, what do you guys do?
No, timeout sucks. Doesn't work.
Timeout didn't work for us.
Yeah.
We have the voices now that he kind of just stops him in his track and he goes and takes some time in his room and then we come out and talk about it. Yeah.
But there's something that you guys use, a technique you guys do. Okay.
Yeah, that's that mom voice. You know, the one that
I've gotten it now, Bill. I didn't have it when he was young, but I got it now.
Okay, I like that. So when we were young, like, you know, no one was afraid of doing spanking. So, you know, it was like in the 70s and my dad had the 2-inch thick like belt. So I would get like the belt, not that he was trying to whip me like I was,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Not to do damage, but it made a point. My mom would use a wooden spoon. So there were like plenty of, it was so funny. Like when my dad was going to do it, I would instantly be crying and my brother would like be laughing because that's the way he got out. That's the way he handled the situation. It was a flip-flop with my mom. He would either laugh or start crying with my mom. And then I would laugh like, are you serious? Like, I get the belt. You're going to give me the wooden spoon. But like, you have the difference. So like, everyone's going to handle it different. Like I'm going to get whipped with the wooden spoon and I'm laughing, or my brother is crying, but with the belt, he's going to start laughing. Well, that's just the way he did it,
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, I mean, if you can pull back outside of all of the CrossFit stuff and just watch how people were, things that they would post, things that they would say, the way people acted on, whether they were competing or the people in the stands, like every single person that was there, everyone, camera people, athletes, coaches, spectators, I mean, everybody had a different way of dealing with it. And it was strange that like there's supposed to be one line right down the middle of what side you're on. And that one line starts at one spot, but there is literally like a complete gradient from 0 to 100 and every decimal in between of how people handle it based on their experiences and what they've seen, what they haven't seen, what they think is morally right or not morally right, or how moral is this situation that just happened, or whatever. It's crazy. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And then even now too, all the things that are happening now.
And it just doesn't even give room for people to, when initially when it happened, I was like, I remember, I think I texted Jan. I was like, I don't know how they keep the games going right now. Like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. And
then later on that day, it wasn't even 24 hours. It was just later on that day. I was like, the way that I mourn, I would want to be around people. I would want to be working out, not being in my thoughts, not like that. That's just how I would want to be.
Yeah.
Like last year, my mom passed last year. And that morning I went to boxing.
Yeah.
Because I just needed to hit something. I needed to sweat. I needed to not be in my head. I needed to, you know what I mean? That's just me. Yeah. I know that's not everybody, but that was just how I had to go deal with that day. So I was like, oh, well, the opportunity for if athletes want to compete and if athletes don't want to compete. However, in my mind, that's how I went. However you want to handle it is how you want to handle it.
Totally. And I was 100% fine. Like, I don't think that there was a right or wrong answer with what, especially the athletes. Like if you couldn't do it because you just mentally were like, I'm just too distraught. Okay.
That's cool. Fine.
I get it. If you are upset at how things were being handled and you thought it was disrespectful that the games were continued, you didn't want to be part of it. Okay, fine. All right, fine.
Yeah.
And if even it was, hey, it's my first time here, and I'm gonna, all right, if you want to go this way, and I'm not saying that anyone thought this, but who knows? It's my first time here. Some of the big dogs are out. Shoot, now I get a really good shot to move my way up. Okay, hey, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Like the thing is that what's funny is that everyone has that same choice, whether this thing happened or didn't happen. Like I could make it to the games and we could have no issues at the game. Then I could be like, you know what? I don't like the way that so-and-so blows their nose, so I am not competing. Okay. Right? I mean, whatever. You don't have to go. You don't have to go. But that's in with all the things we've seen over the last like 5 years or so, 8 years. That is the one thing that I like most about why we're here in like, in the United States, because I should be allowed to do that. I should be allowed. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Granted, we know what's happened, but I should be allowed to do whatever the heck I want to do. And don't tell me that I'm wrong, and I won't tell you that you're wrong. I mean, unless you'd say, hey, let's get into a debate about it. Okay, then we'll go fact to fact or whatever. But look, if you want to do, I mean, even like the mask stuff, like, okay, if you want to wear a mask, fine. I'm not telling you. Even I see people walking around now that are wearing masks. I'm not going to tell you don't wear one. Hey, man, if you want to wear it, cool. I'm not going to go, what the hell's wrong with you? What are you some like little chicken? You're too afraid, whatever.
You're
the thing is like, that's your deal. If you want to do that, cool. Just don't say anything to me about mine.
Because you're in the great state of California.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. We're in the great state of New York. It's fine.
Wow, we're about the same thing. What are you talking about?
Same. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're in the, what is it? The big three. We're in two of the big three. Like it's all good.
Yep.
Oh,
and that was always my, like, you do what you want with your family, your kid, your household, your whatever. Just don't make it a blanket statement where the rest of us all have to do whatever it is that you want us to do.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that was always that's my thing with everything that's happening right now.
Well, and I honestly believe that that's the healthiest way individually to do that, because now what that does is I don't really care what everyone else is doing. There's no emotional anything withdraw or exchange from me because that person wants to do X, Y, and Z. Like they I just don't care. I just don't care. Like if you want to do that, fine, man, whatever. But don't make it to where I can't do what I want to do. Don't make it to where I can't say or be or act or respond the way that I want to respond.
Right.
That it's like it's crazy with the man, the way everyone's posting stuff or reposting either the black and white pictures, or I'll say this, the one thing that I have really liked that has happened with people posting stuff about Lazar is when they tell a story about some sort of interaction they had with Lazar. I think that's cool. I think love that is DM awesome.
Pictures that you see the conversations they've had, like when the people share. Like I love those. Those are very cool to see, like, his personality in real, like almost in real life. In real time.
Totally. Yeah. It's like that. That to me, and I mean, you guys have been to funerals, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they normally call them now? Celebration of life.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like that. Like, okay, let's try to like be happy about it. Or not be happy about he's gone, but like, or he or she is gone, but like, let's celebrate all the fun, good, the person this was. That's what I liked when I saw the stories. Mm-hmm. But anything past that, like, don't make me feel like I'm doing something wrong because I'm not saying what you're saying. Don't make it say that because I'm not posting a black and white picture or a black picture, just a black square or a black circle or whatever the thing is now, that I now somehow am being disrespectful or that I don't care about what happened.
Yeah.
You don't know. But just because I'm not doing it the way you're doing it doesn't mean that I am feeling this way or that way. It was the same thing with BLM. It was the same thing with vaccines. It was the same thing with Floyd 19, all of the things. Yep. It's not the whole, I do not agree with, the flood of messages comes out and you instantly have to decide and use this template or that template.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much. I mean, and now the CrossFit community has to process more stuff now with everything that happened yesterday and hey, have we even processed what happened at the games? I don't even know if people are done processing what happened at the games, let alone process what's happening as of yesterday.
I know.
It's just, and they're young kids that you're asking to process it. Adults can't, like adults in there. I'm still processing what happened at the games, and I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
And now they're processing that, and now I can't even imagine how difficult that is. And
well, that's why for me, from more of a standing back perspective, I feel like even a lot of the PFAA stuff right now, it's more reactionary.
I was going to ask, do you think it's too soon?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, in all reality, I mean, you could do that anytime you want to. Like, okay, so I know that Pat said, I saw one post, one of the things he said, and I didn't necessarily disagree with it. Like, I didn't think it was a bad thing that he said, even though it was mixed in with a lot of other, pretty emotional stuff. But he said, I don't want this to be forgotten. Okay, I get that, and it's the first tragedy that the CrossFit Games has ever had, so I don't think that it will be forgotten. I don't think that by trying to continue the competition that is sweeping it under the carpet. I don't think that. I mean, here we are. I mean, it was 1 week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been
tomorrow will be 2 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks, and we just had our guts ripped out. The games had the guts ripped out.
Yep.
And now we're going to try to rip whatever the guts left that we have out again, with this. Like, I just feel like it's way too much, because even the things that are even being said, are still heavily reactionary. And I would classify them that as reactionary, because the verbiage that is used is highly emotional, highly, just like all the trigger words that you could possibly come up with, all the ones that if you say this word, it instantly has an emotional, response to it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is vague. A lot of, like, there's no, like, okay, PFAA.
See, he does it too.
Yeah, she does it. Her brain won't let her say it either.
PFAA.
Right.
PFAA. Yep.
I think that if you say that you want change, like, you can't. That is the most vague. That's like saying I want to be happy. Well, what the hell does that even mean? I want to be okay. Put it in our definition. I want to be fit. Well, before CrossFit, nobody even knew what the hell that meant.
Yep.
Body, is that like BMI? Is that my HDL? Is that my VO2 max? Is that how fast
we don't
I can
know
run
a lot of things. We don't know what a woman is right now. We don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know right now.
I know. Well, I'm not buying in. I'm not buying into that. All of the nuanced thinking, like the new math stuff. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Hey, by the way, Jake really wanted, he's listening from a hotel on mute, but he would really like for you to blow him a kiss. Jake, we haven't reached the gay part of the show yet. We'll get there eventually.
Isn't that Tyler Self's part? Like, what the heck? I thought that was his deal. He'd get up and like throw like a full moon to the camera or something like that.
We're not there yet, Jake. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, bro.
But yeah, I just think that like if you want change, fine. I won't even disagree with that. Like, I don't think that anyone would disagree with, like, okay, there was a problem, we need to fix it, like something wrong. And this is every incident I've ever been part of. Like, not everything goes great, and I say great in air quotes, because there's obviously a gradient of, okay, someone just tripped and fell, or we lost a whole platoon, or whatever the thing is. How do we not make that happen again? So you have an after action, report, and you go through and you check all the boxes. Like, okay, what did we do? What didn't we do? Where was the slip? So we can make that change. So we can make sure that that never happens again. Okay. Again, that's not, blowing off what did happen, but it's like, we now need to make sure that it never happens again, because we want, and CrossFit should want, everyone to see that we are going to make a change to fix that problem. I don't think that going out and headhunting is the way to fix that problem. No. Because the way that at least that I see them headhunting right now, especially like when they're going after Dave, it's not like Dave sat there and was going through the checklist of all of the people that were in the water that day and making sure everyone had all the rescue supplies. Like, I've been a part of all kinds of big incidents as a fire captain. So like, I've run the whole thing, but I'm not the one doing the stuff. I have divisions, and those people are in charge of some people that are doing operations. And those people, they're the ones that are going up on the roof or going into the building or going up this flank of the hill or whatever. I'm not there. I'm trying to see what's going on. But yeah, if something goes down, sure, it eventually goes down to me. But it's not me? Because if you're going to, like, why did it stop at me? Why wouldn't it stop at Don Fall? He's the CEO. He's in, and as of right now, there is no split between CrossFit, the methodology, and CrossFit sport. None. So if that's the case, then why are we stopping at Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe his title, the director of the game's like, okay, I get it. And Don Fall's the CEO of CrossFit, which runs the games. So I just think that again, I feel that that's more of a scapegoat kind of move. Well, he's gone. Oh, no, now we'll finally get what we want, which is, we don't really know what we want, but I don't know.
Damn. Okay.
Well, when do you think that we got to the point where we can't have conversations with each other? Like, we can't have the tough conversations, like you were saying
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
For real.
Yeah, because you say, like, if something happens, you guys have to sit down, you go through your checklist, everything that you guys did, you didn't do. So you sat down and you have really tough conversations, because somebody ultimately has to either admit fault or, whatever, to get to the next time to try to do it better than the last time.
Right.
And I think that that's why Garrett and I enjoy doing this so much, is because we're trying to bring back difficult conversations where it's not so personal, where it's not like me attacking you again, like I said before, because you don't agree wholeheartedly with every single thing that I say. What we get to do now is I get to ask you questions as to why, and you ask me questions as to why. So with something like this, do you think it's anything other than emotions, where it's literally drawn the line one side versus the other, and that they're doing it so publicly instead of coming together and having these difficult conversations with everybody involved?
I think that it is too emotionally charged to get everyone involved to talk, first of all, because it wouldn't just be, well, I'll step back. The people that would need to have that talk, I think that there would be a lot of people that feel that they need to be involved in that conversation. And I think that the more people you have involved in the conversation, kind of the more either one, convoluted the conversation is going to get, or the more yes man-y it could kind of get, where everyone's like, oh yeah, whatever, yeah, exactly what they said. Maybe, who knows? I think that it's hard to have those conversations when it is heated, and obviously it's heated on the Lazar and the Lucas side and their family side. I mean, how could it not be?
Happy, yeah.
Right.
That's an obvious.
Absolutely.
It would be a big deal for Dave because, like, the guy he was a SEAL officer. Like, it's not that he doesn't take shortcuts on stuff to where he's just going to do a shit job. I just can't see that being the normal. Again, I'm not saying that everything's always been done perfect. Not saying that. So I think that this is a big deal for him also. I think that for CrossFit, and I don't mean CrossFit Games, but CrossFit, it's a big deal because, I mean, CrossFit has had a rough go at it the last handful of years too. With all the changes that have happened within CrossFit, and would I say that all of the changes have brought about a lot of positivity and good stuff? Because it depends who you're talking to. I personally, no. I mean, I'm having to pay more for my affiliation fees and doing all that kind of stuff, and I'm getting things that are offered to me that I never really wanted to begin with, and I'm not feeling like the CrossFit that I remember. And I'm not talking Glassman, but just the grit and the not afraid of working hard, and the, like, the classic, the barbell doesn't care who you are. The 95 pounds is still going to be 95 pounds. It doesn't care if you're a man, a woman, white, black, gay, straight, one leg, no legs. 95 pounds is 95 pounds. So here's the task. Go do it. I think that's why I love CrossFit so much, because that was fire. Is that it doesn't care. Like, the fire is ripping. These people need help. That the incident doesn't care if you're sick, or if you didn't sleep that night, or if you had an emotional roller coaster with your
Can two
your
things
partner,
be
whatever.
true? Can two things be true at the same time? Can you absolutely care and care for the Jukic family and care that what happened and be empathetic and also care about Dave? Can those, and just be like, say, hey, it's not just one person's fault. It's not he cares about CrossFit too.
I think so. I think so, because I think those are they're on two different realms, like caring for the Jukic family and the empathy and the sympathy for what happened to their family. And over here, look at Dave and be like, dang, dude. Like, I mean, I'm not in charge of the games. If I was in charge of the games and this was going down, I mean, I've had things go down that are bad, and I got to answer to it. And like, the first thing is like, holy shit, now what? I mean, like, anyone's instant reaction would be to want to just run for the hills, not have to deal with that, because that's a lot of pressure. But like, I hope he shouldn't be the only one taking the pressure. This is not just him. I mean, and again, I have not seen exactly what the safety plan was exactly. I've seen whatever we've seen on the videos, and what boats and what skis and what paddle boards or whatever. But I mean, it comes down to one person, and that's not me saying let's lynch that one person. Even maybe they weren't even the person for the job. Maybe that wasn't the person that should have been there. Maybe there should have been some instruction that was given ahead of time. That's what I mean. So it's like, you can say that a person did it, but there's a lot of things that are around that. And I think that the reason I take that sort of a view is because I've been on big incidents, actually small incidents too, where things go wrong, and there is a group a group responsibility to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in all reality, like there was one person that was right by him, and he or she didn't see him for whatever the reason was. Not enough people, glare in the eyes. I mean, whatever. I wasn't there. I don't know. But that's. I think that the Dave thing, even all the stuff about like, well, we've tried before and we've been told, we haven't been given any sort of transparency. It's like, you have never, other than 3 events, come into an event and didn't know what the event was. 3 times in all of CrossFit history. 3. So if that's the case, you knew what the events were. You knew what they were. And I mean, I could say, like, if you want change, to be like, all right, we want a PFAA representative, safety representative, to always be part of CrossFit competitions, open, quarterfinals, semis, and the games, so that they can give their stamp of approval of whatever. I mean, I honestly believe that if they would have seen what the safety write-up was, I don't even think that they would have noticed that there would have been an issue. Honestly, just because I don't know if that would have been their specialty to even look at. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like so you got people in the water, sweet. Oh, you got some jet skis, cool. All right. I think that should be good.
But yeah,
they may. I mean, unless you are the person that is like, okay, well, I'm going to look for anything that can possibly go wrong, and we need to mitigate that. And
can you literally?
No, and that's the thing. Like, I was even in like our locker room thread, I was talking about that with everyone that was in there, as everyone's going nuts on it. I'm like, okay, well, time to get the climbing harnesses out and the belayer, so that when you're doing your pull-ups or your ring muscle ups or you're climbing the rope, just in case something happens, because maybe the strap on the muscle ups is going to break, and I need to make sure that I have a belayed system so that I don't fall to the ground to hurt my arm. Or every single bar that I'm going to put up over my head is going to have a belay system too, because if for some reason I wobble and it comes down, it's not going to land on me, and I'm going to have a safety. Like it sounds ridiculous, but the thing is that's, if you're going to put a line somewhere, you have to understand, okay, well, then what makes this as either more or less possible than this, when I'm just moving the line back and forth? Because if we're saying injury or death, you could put someone up on a muscle up and have them fall on their neck and break their neck. I mean, it's possible.
That was why I was always afraid of a bar muscle up, because I was always, at my big ass, I was always afraid I was going to throw myself over the front of it and land on my head.
I've had people, seriously, people tried to kip, and I've had people land on their ass. And as an owner, that scares the shit out of me. Okay, I'll tell you that I had this happen one time. We had like, I'm a fire guy, so when I'm hanging my ropes up in my gym, I have cut fire hose that goes over the beam so that I don't get any sort of shearing that happens. I have webbing that we used to put like rescue systems on when we're doing like cliff rescues, and we're hauling up people and Stokes baskets and everything else, and carabiners that have way more weight than if I put all my members on the rope at one time, it would still hold it. I got a new rope because one was fraying, and so this was probably over a year ago now. I got a couple new ropes. So while I was up putting the new rope up, I'm like, you know what? I should probably just check the webbing on the other ones to just kind of see how they're doing up there. Checking them out. I'm looking at them. I don't see any fraying. I don't see anything. About a month later, we have a rope climb workout, and one of my members climbs up. Thank God he was a tall guy. He's climbing up, and as he goes up for the last reach, which is going to be to the 15-foot mark, all of a sudden the rope just drops. Boom. And he comes up. And it was the webbing just snapped. And I don't, like, these things are like 18,000-pound tensile strength webbing, the way I had it wrapped up. I don't know how it happened. Obviously, I was shitting my pants, because I was standing there. I was as I'm making my rounds. Coach, hey, there you go. Yeah, make sure you get lower. And hey, get those arms back. And he's going up, and all of a sudden he just dropped, boom, boom, and hits the ground. And I'm like, because like Was I negligent? In reality, I literally just checked them a month ago, and they were fine. So was it negligent? I mean, you could say, all right, I guess you need to check your straps on every single, thing that you have in the gym every single day. Okay, maybe that's the right answer. Maybe I was negligent because I did that. Thank God nothing happened, and they were fine. A little bruise on the butt, but like he actually came down and landed on his feet and then his butt. Thank goodness. But like the could have that happened on that, I wouldn't have a gym anymore. There's no way.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. So since then I've changed rope. Like I've thread the whole rope through now. Like there's nothing that is gonna. I can hang a
There's
car from
no
those
way
things,
that shit's happening again.
But like I didn't. I had made life safety rescues hanging off a 100-foot cliff with me, another rescue, and a victim, and a Stokes basket on the same rigging that I had on this rope. So why would I think that one person climbing to the top, not even doing a legless, climbing to the top would be an issue? So that's what I mean. It's like things are going to happen. That's just how life is. Like,
Does that
shit happens?
Frank, I'm coming back to your question because I want to know that too, actually. But actually, let's just go to it now. I'll come back. Bill, what do you think of NorCal Classic sticking with the swim event this year?
Proud of them. Good. They should. I don't think that because something bad happened means that you should. The answer is not to never do it again. The answer is just to make sure that those things don't happen again. Because, Kevin Ogar, right? He was paralyzed with the snatch. Are we still doing snatches? Yes. As we should. I'm glad that those guys are doing it. They have always been, Ben and Blair have always been very aware of the swim. And they always had life jackets if you wanted them. Everyone always had to carry like a rescue tube. They had people in the water. I know this time they said that like they want everyone to have somebody with them, or if you want to have someone with you, you can like swim along or paddle alongside you, along with the other people they have. So I get it, and I'm proud that they're doing it, and I'm okay with the way that they even ramped up to make people feel okay about doing it. But I don't think the right thing is to be scared of it and make it seem like it's not going to happen, or it's going to happen instantly if you have a swimming. Like I'm bummed that Wodapalooza said that they're not going to be doing any swims for SoCal.
I always thought that the pendulum was going to swing back very far the other way when it happened. Like it didn't surprise me when they were like no water, no pools, no. I thought that was going to happen anyway. I thought they were going to headhunt. I thought they were going to take everything out so that there was no worries. There's no possible chance of anything else bad happening, which you can't make,
right. The thing is that I get it, but that does not fix it. Like, you've seen that commercial. I think it's a Geico commercial. It's the Mayhem. The guy is like, I'm Mayhem, and he's like,
oh yeah.
It's like shit always is gonna happen. Like it doesn't matter what you do, something will always happen. And I've always really liked the swim events that people have done, and included it because I just think that is a GPP skill. There's oceans, there are lakes, there's water all over the place, and everyone needs to know how to swim.
Yeah.
Even when they were repetitive, and it was pretty much like doing the same one over and over and over again.
Here we go. Don't get.
Are you talking about the swim events?
Run, swim, run, or run this and then paddle, and then next year we're gonna run a little bit longer and paddle a little bit longer.
She was
all right. I won't
wait,
disagree.
I was put in my place though, and I think it was from Seth from Jump Street. He was like, "But that is that's a test.
Totally.
If you swim 500s and you only swim 500s, that's great. You're good at 500s. If you never extend it, you're not actually going to get better. I was like, okay, fine, you're right.
Okay, no, but now, I mean, even to kind of kick your argument a little bit more.
Oh boy.
If that was the case, how many times have we done, snatching at a certain weight, or clean and jerk ladders, or how many times have we done burpees? Oh, we're doing burpees again. Oh, haven't we tested those yet? We've already tested the burpees.
All right.
What
I don't know
about
why you
pull-ups?
do
You're
this.
right. You're right.
But the thing is
Especially
that,
with the true analysts that love the programming part of it. Me, I'm just a fan. I'm like, oh my God, this is so boring. But no.
I don't necessarily disagree with, I mean, like, I was a lifeguard. I did like beach lifeguard stuff. So there's part of me that likes that, even though I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm like an endurance-y type of athlete, but I like those. They just were kind of fun, and triathlons are fun. I mean, one of the, like, what got me into CrossFit officially was I wanted to be able to do any of those things. And before I got my level 1, I decided I was going to do the Wildflower Triathlon, which is out here in California. And I was, CrossFit competition, CrossFit wasn't really a thing yet. And I was doing triathlons, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to test this CrossFit thing. I'm not going to do any triathlon training at all. None. I'm just going to do CrossFit for like whatever 6 months it was, whatever it was at that time frame. So I think it was like 6 months. And I go, and then I'm going to do the competition. I'm going to do my race, and I'm going to see what my time was compared to last year when I trained for like the same time, 6 months of like triathlon training. And I remember, because I remember talking to a handful of guys at my level 1. This was like 2007, like way back. And, they always say like, oh, what do you know about CrossFit? And hey, kind of introduce yourself. What do you know about CrossFit, and why are you here? And, I said that I've been doing it for a little while. I'm playing with it. And this is one of the things I want to test. Like, I like the What is Fitness article, and I want to test this. So I'm doing this right now. I was literally, I think my time was, I don't know, like 5 or 7 minutes difference between the two, without doing any swimming, without doing any specific biking or anything like that. And I was like, okay, I like this. So I always really, really like dug that stuff, so the programming. So, but like,
that means you loved the marathon row, didn't you?
I did.
I will say this. I went into the marathon row knowing that we were going to be on the air for a long time, and had zero expectations, and I actually had a good time doing it, just because it was the first time. Like, usually we're trying to be super professional. We're in this time frame block that we have to do, and now it's like,
y'all
man, we can just sit here and talk.
Hang out.
So we were
Did you
hanging
have
out.
snack runners? Did you have people like to run and get you snacks, and like? Did
Oh
you
man,
have,
all the time. Yeah, all the time. All the time. You want to know what was funny? You want to know something funny? Carolyn Lambry.
Yeah.
Okay. She was, when I first met her, she was one of our stage managers that would always go and get me like heavy cream and stuff for my coffee when we were doing the broadcast.
Oh shit.
This is before
way
Jeff.
back in
way back. So like me and Sean would be on, and she would run and go get us stuff, or go get drinks, or like whatever snacks we needed in between or whatever. But yeah, how crazy is that?
That is crazy.
Hey, did you see that Fluffy Duck meme?
So that was so funny.
So
that was
like amazing.
Dude, Josh has done a lot of crazy videos without a doubt, but that was by far my most favorite one he's ever done. That was so good. I was so stoked that Sean got in and did that. It was
that
awesome.
Gave me such permission to laugh. Like, I don't think I had laughed that hard yet until that came out, and I was dying.
Yeah,
it was
great.
It
was so good. It was so good. I loved it.
I liked Chad too at the games this year. I'm that weird one. I said it before. I liked the marathon row, and I like Chad.
Why'd you like Chad?
I just liked watching them do that grunt work, like just put their head down, do it. I like watching them look around, see as much as they could who was, try to even just figure out where they were compared to the other people around them.
Yeah.
And try to game it, not really knowing where they were. It was awesome. It was fun.
And
I enjoyed it.
Colleen, you didn't like it?
No, I did like it.
Oh, what? Man,
but
you need to figure out what side of the line you're standing on. What the heck? Pick a side already.
I'm growing, okay? I'm growing. So what I was gonna say is I think that this was okay. Slow down over there, lady. Okay,
we're getting into that portion of the show now. I don't know.
No, we're not. Jake and Jan, we're not. That was last week. We're not doing it this week. I feel like that was actually a perfect event for them because it was a mindless physical test, but mentally it was a fucking grind to be in that state, to feel the way that they felt, to have all of those emotions and be told or asked, because they have a choice, to be asked to do a workout like that. I think that was the perfect event for them to have at the games for this situation. I don't know if I'd agree with it so much if nothing happened. But I think that for this particular games in the situation that was given to everybody, I think it was a perfect event for them to mentally.
Okay. I don't want to, me and Colleen are not dipping into the, well, maybe Colleen is, but I'm definitely not dipping into the realm of like analyzing the event.
No.
So I don't know if they needed counters or not, and I probably won't pay attention enough to figure it out if they do need it.
Like, the only thing the thing that was irritating for me watching that was, I wish with the way they had it built up, I wish they would just let them step. Like not like the 2-step on everything. Like just step. Like you step on one, you can step right up to the next one. Like step down, that to me would have made sense for having the up and the down that they had. It was I felt like it was watching a video that was constantly glitching because it was like the whole time. That's what was hard for me on that. I mean,
I didn't want to lose this question because
I brought that back up.
Yeah, thank you. Amanda Perez, I'm not gonna try to say the hyphen because I just feel like I'm gonna mess it up. If you avoid swim events, mentally fear will take over the athletes. You can't avoid things forever. Just figure out what went wrong and put better plans in place. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the fear part because I definitely have, like, when I was younger, I water skied. I dislocated my hip, had to have surgery, and then I never, like, I didn't really water ski again after that. I was like, no, I'm good. But do you think that that's what it is? Like maybe this, and I'm just trying to process it like everybody else, but do you think that maybe fear plays a bigger factor? Just like when we were talking about before, like, are they afraid of who's next? You know what I mean? And that fear, because it's such a, like, that fear is huge, right? It's not a little fear. It's not a fear of getting an ACL tear. It's not a fear of, whatever, that just the life or death kind of thing.
I don't feel that any of the athletes that stepped on that line were afraid that they weren't going to make the swim. I don't think that if you put any of those athletes in a pool right now, that they would be afraid that they aren't going to make the swim. I don't think that if you put any of those athletes in the water right now, that they would be afraid that they wouldn't make the swim. I think that is more of a reaction to what happened rather than what the swim actually was. Like they weren't afraid of the swim. And
no, I just mean now with the reaction that's happening now with what's
like
happening.
The swims being canceled and that kind of stuff.
Right. And this like giant pendulum swing do you think that that's fear-based almost?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's fear-based.
Okay.
100%. I think it's fear-based. I think that is like the lowest hanging fruit for CrossFit to do. And say it to
make it better.
If they're trying to show some sort of a transparency of like, okay, see, we're trying. At least we're starting there. So this, what happened, will never happen again because we're not going to get you in the water. And any licensed event is now we are not putting, if you're doing a swim event, you're not licensed with us anymore. Okay, that's them trying to cover their ass for what happened. rather than, again, trying to figure out what happened. Because just like same thing with Kevin Ogar, like when the snatch went down, we did not stop snatching even for a week when that happened. Thought about what we did was, okay, you shouldn't be stacking your weights right next to your bar. Okay. Got it. Doesn't mean that Kevin can walk around right now. He can't.
Right.
You know, it doesn't change anything of what happened, other than the fact that now people are at least thinking about safety when it comes to that realm, when it comes to a weight overhead that's going to be dropped and you have whatever change. But that's why they make a big deal about, like in the semis or the games, that if you have your square that you're lifting in, the weights have to be pushed outside of that, because if that bar comes down, it's not going to hit anything because of that reason. That's why that happened. So, you know, the same thing when we did Murph, and Annie got heat stroke, and Cara Saunders is coming across the finish line, and she's doing the crazy seals, you know, it's Stevie Wonder, not even knowing where the heck she was. So, okay, we do it again because everyone said that was too hard. Dave does it again, but puts it in the morning time. Okay. There were people that did that swim ahead of time and that run ahead of time. It's not like all of a sudden 3 days before, whenever they were testing that swim, that all of a sudden they went out on that day and someone put the boilers in there and it was completely different. That's not the case. So I think that it is fear-based, all of it. So
that's a really great point. And Allegra, I like this too. I don't think it was a swim that scared people. It was the protocols. At this point, it's expected to swim at the CrossFit game.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So you just said with the snatch. Okay, so the thing that made everybody feel better was moving plates away. With Cara Saunders, and you know, those protocols made everybody feel safe, and they moved it into the morning, and now like everybody feels good. What do you think that they're going to need? Like, what is going to make them feel? How do you feel safe after this? Like, what do you think that they're all going to come to agreement on what that looks like? You know.
Yeah, I think that if they do a swim, well, I hate to say this, but I think that probably the initial is, if they ever do a swim again, it'll be in a pool because it's way easier to regulate. If they, which I think is unfortunate, if they do go to open water, I think that they will be, or should be, very transparent about what that setup would look like. Like I mean, I was thinking, okay, if I was running the safety scene on that, what would I design the water rescue safety protocol to be? And I would have split that thing up into two 400-meter sections. I would have had a boat, 2 skis, and a board, like a person on a paddleboard, not a stand-up paddleboard, but a prone paddleboard, sitting with a lifeguard tube.
Yeah.
So that they can make an actual rescue. On the skis, you have an extra person, because that way, if someone has to make a rescue, they say that they're going in for a rescue, they say that they're stopping someone, and the ski can come around, and then you now have an extra person to cover that area of the water that they're watching. As everyone is going by, and you now have no one else in your whatever, 25 meters, 30 meters, whatever amount of distance you want to give them. No one else is in that area anymore, and everyone's already gone past. Okay, then those people can move up and they can be brought to the front, so that at the end, where everyone's tired, they're just kind of hanging out, they can kind of make their way up and hang out up there. So if there are extra people that need to be watched, if there are someone gets missed, this is where everyone's going to be tired, because this is the end of the swim. You have more people there. I mean, it's not hard to do, but
right.
You know, I mean, at the time, would that have felt like overkill because of what they've had in the past? Maybe.
Well, Carson's water is way different than what that lake looked like visually.
Okay.
You see Carson, the ocean, like the actual ocean.
Right.
And them swimming through the chop and getting hit by waves. And you remember someone getting like tossed in the waves as they're trying to get out of the water.
There have been people that have been rescued. I mean, Rob Orlando, there was the one dude from Spain that was holding on to one of the boards for a long time. Deborah Cordner Carson, she started to go in and didn't even go in. So, I mean, it has happened. Miko, he like blew his eardrum out which is crazy because he's a diver with his fire department. So, I mean, like there have been people that have had issues in the water. In that, I just think that it's crazy that we make a big deal about those issues, but then we don't make a big deal about, we're still snatching and Brooke snaps her elbow. We've gotten people that have been paralyzed. I mean, like again, those are not deaths. I understand that too. That's one of the things about water. And I'm a big proponent of this kind of stuff for the water anyway, because in the water, you can't stop. Like, even if you aren't swimming anymore, like you can't not continue to work to keep your head up. Like on a run, if I want to, I could stop and I can lay
and
down on
sit
the ground.
down. Right. Yeah.
You can't do that in the water.
Yeah.
So you do have to take a little bit of extra concern with that. And I just think that would be something that will be changed, and that'll probably be way more transparent. I mean, I would go overkill on that.
Yeah.
Rather than go overkill on, well, then we're never swimming again. Let's just do it that way. That's like, I think that's, what do they say? Throwing the baby out before the bathwater, or however.
Throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
However they go.
Yeah.
They make like a tree and get out of here. All those things.
Look, I won one. Oh my God. I have not won against an analyst yet. I won one.
So
fire.
So CrossFit prides themselves, the community prides themselves on everybody is involved. Most of the time people that are at the games, whether they're working the games, volunteering for the game, it's the love of the community. It's the love of the methodology. It's the love of the sport. Do you feel like that blurs things a little bit, where people can't see things super clearly when it comes to safety regulations, when it comes to like that kind of stuff? Like, do you think that CrossFit needs someone outside of the bubble to be able to see things that maybe avid CrossFitters that love it so much want the craziness? Like, as a fan like me, run, swim, one, it's boring.
Yeah.
I want it to be a little bit crazier, a little bit this, a little bit that. I'm looking at it from a sport loving perspective versus a safety perspective.
Yeah. I think that it is always safe to get out of your echo chamber, and I'm not saying that they were in one, but again, I'm not going to say that I know that when Dave was doing programming before, that they would sit there and they would, have the team of people that are all there talking about the events, and he would guide whatever that would look like. But there would be people that would say, what about this? What about that? He would decide whether that was a needed change to whatever the programming was that he had, or how is it designed, or what's the flow look like, or, Boz would hop into that kind of stuff too. I think that there's if we are relying, I'll circle back around to the volunteer part. If we're relying on volunteers to do really important work, then we better make sure that you're getting the right volunteers that are doing that. Not just people that want to come to the games and they're like, oh my gosh, that's Tia right there. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Look how fast she's going.
Yeah.
Wow, that's Brent Fikowski right there. It's amazing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you need someone that like basically
please do that voice all the time.
I mean, you need to have people that are like, okay, cool. You guys are CrossFitters, whatever, we do triathlons, or I'm here because I'm a lifeguard. Like, this is what I do. I'm a lifeguard. I don't care if you win this race. Right. I think you all are shitty swimmers because I'm all better than all of you anyway. But I'm here just to make sure you little peons are going to be okay. Like, pick those people because they don't care who's winning. What they want is they want to see who's struggling. Like, right. Like if you get someone that's a rescuer, they're not a fanboy. They're waiting to see who's going to go down so that they get to work.
Right.
And not that saying that you want to have someone go down, but you know what I mean? Like they're the ones, you need someone that's going to be attentive to it. And so I think that if they, you know, a third party person to see what they're doing. Okay. Like I'm for that. Okay, sure. Because if I think of the same sort of thing, like when I was working fire, I would have some chiefs would come up to me and be like, "What the fuck did you do that for? You should have never done X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, "Okay, but it worked, and here was why I did it." Like if I can justify why I am doing this, this, and this, while keeping in mind safety of my guys and my girls, and trying to do, try to mitigate loss and all of the things, just because it's not how you want to do it doesn't mean that it's the wrong way. But if I can justify it and you can understand what I'm doing and what I'm trying to take care of, that should be okay. So I mean, let them justify it, or even better yet, not have Dave justify it, but have Dave say, okay, you're the head of my medical crew. You're the head of my safety crew. You're the head of my water safety crew. So when people want to know what the heck's going on, they're going to be coming to you. Cool. Like I would love that job. Like if I can't commentate, give me that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'll make sure that like everyone's on it. I mean, we'd have cool radios. We're like, yeah, we're all clear here. Yeah, 60 meters in, we're all good. That's right, John. They're coming up to you 100 meters. Yeah, watch out for number 3 over there in the pink hat. Yep, that one's struggling. And that one doesn't know how to swim at all.
That would be me if it's in the ocean. No, you'd be making fun of all of that over the mic. She hasn't gotten in the water yet, guys. It's 20 minutes later. She's still not in the ocean.
I mean, I guarantee you when they did the swimming stuff, I think it was 2014 and 2015 at the beach, where it was the swim and the thrusters and the dumbbell. That was my favorite one. I love that one the best.
Me too.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, all the lifeguards, because they were LA County lifeguards that were out in the water. They had Baywatch out there on the boats and everything. Guaranteed that they were like, "What the hell are these guys doing?" Look at that. That one girl, she looks really strong, but she sucks in the water.
Yep.
What about that guy? Is that guy okay? Oh, he just normally swims like that? Okay.
Or all of the sand that's coming out of like the nose and the snot from all the burpees in the sand. I just remember Jack Bridges just constantly like coming up with sand everywhere from those burpees and that one.
Yeah. But and again, I am not saying that that's who was in the water because I don't know.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I think that was a misstep. I do not think at that level, like, the judges should not be straight volunteers. They should be L1 staff, people that like, it's a regular, I mean, it's important. Like this stuff's important now. Like the volunteer staff, those are the people that are doing vendor stuff,
moving stuff,
letting moving equipment out. Okay. Okay. But I mean, shit, even that, got to make sure all the straps are put up right.
Oh,
you don't want the strap to come down.
That's true.
So I mean, you just make sure that you have someone that is double checking all the rigging that's done. You have, not that every person needs to be the most specced out person, but you put them where you need them to be, which is, are they going to fall off something or are they going to go underwater?
Yeah.
I think
it's super interesting because I've been fortunate enough to talk to a bunch of people about this like over the last couple of weeks, and it's very interesting. You guys really all kind of have the same kind of core points. There's little nuances everywhere, and everybody looks at it from a different lens and from different experiences, like your own personal experiences. But it is very interesting listening to, because you guys are very close to agreeing on most things. And so I think it's so funny how, or not funny, just sad that people feel like they have to be so divided and just, instead of listening to what the other person's saying, because I'm pretty much agreeing on most things.
You want to, so when we were texting back and forth, we were talking the first time you guys hit me up going into this podcast.
Dude, this was not what this show was supposed to be, by the way.
I know.
Like 8,000.
Save that for another one.
A whole other
it just
day.
means Bill's got to come back.
Yeah.
Come back and hang out with us again.
It was interesting how it went from, we were talking about, men competing in women's sports.
Yeah.
We went from that to I hit you back because that week was all nuts, and then I hit you back, and you're like, oh, we'll talk about the DNC, and then like all of that. We've got to this, but you want to know what's crazy interesting is, and so my mom is she's just an old school Democrat. I am not. I honestly think that I'm way more independent than I am even Republican, just because I like to see what the things are rather than I just always go on this side or that side, depending whatever it is. I feel that the way that like the DNC and the Republican National Convention went down, like the way that everyone talked is exactly how the PFAA and then like the old school CrossFit groups are talking. Like the PFAA and the DNC, every word is an emotional trigger. Everything, like I watched a little bit of the DNC and like I didn't hear anything other than like just emotions. Emotions about, and again, this is not a hit on if you guys are Democrats out there or whatever. It's not a hit on that, but it was just interesting to me because that's what I saw even with the PFAA. It's not that what they are wanting to do, at least on the surface level, I get what they're trying to do. Like we want to protect our people. Okay, cool. I think the PFA is kind of funny because it's like I've had firefighters like unions and associations. Like, are you guys really? And if you're athlete, it was actually Sebon brought up a great point when he was going on his rant yesterday about what about all the people in the open who do the open? Are they athletes? Like who? Like where does the athlete part start? Professional athlete, meaning what? Like, what if I'm a local guy and I have a local whatever that I don't know does our stickers at the gym or something like that? Like, technically I'm a professional. So, like, do all of those people get a say in what the PFAA is wanting to do, or is it just the people that decided that they wanted to make a group, which in reality, it wasn't about safety to start with. It was about, they wanted money and not money. That sounds bad. They wanted more equitable money to go across between the athletes so that they could be real athletes. Of course they wanted protection and they wanted to make sure that everyone was safe, but like, it wasn't that they were the hall monitor that was running around. That wasn't their initial thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was more about like, we want to make it so that these athletes can be professional athletes.
Yeah.
Well, to make them be professional athletes, that's where you start talking about money stuff and all that kind of thing. Okay, I got it. And then the next tier was like not just pure safety, but like, are you looking out for the athletes? Like, and a lot of that was like, okay, well, I can't do my pull-ups on the pull-up bar because it's too short. So I can't even compete. Okay. Right. All right. Okay. All right. We got that.
Yeah, that was DeLugos. Okay. I remember him.
Yeah.
That was crazy that year.
I mean, he's so tall.
Not that like, to me, I was like, okay, good call, you guys. Yeah. Cool. Like, bring it to people's attention. The coil, the rope that's on the ground. Okay. Yeah. If someone's going to look for that, okay, then if that makes a change, okay, fine. I get it. But I don't remember that ever supposed to be like we're going to walk around with our hall monitor sash on and we want to go through with our, our little hard hat and our little neon vest. And we need to inspect all of the safety regulations that are happening here to make sure that everyone is safe in this competitions. That just seems weird to me. Like, I don't understand what you guys are trying to do because everything is unsafe.
Right.
Everything is unsafe.
The whole sport is, but professional sports are, though. It's not like football.
Exactly my point. So it's like, what do we?
So is it this constant, like, we want this? People have been shouting from the rooftops for a long time.
Oh,
we want change.
That wasn't going to say change.
We want change. We demand change. And those are the words. We demand change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
But I meant like,
cool.
So they're screaming that they want it to be professional, but then they're backpedaling a little bit from what professional sports act to do. You guys say it all the time. Professional sports are dangerous. Football is dangerous. Like all of these type of things. Like, doesn't it feel like they're kind of walking backwards, rolling back down the hill? No, maybe.
Yeah, because I think that like if you are looking at professional associations for professional sport teams, like we're talking NFL, NHL, NBA.
But you have billionaire owners.
They have all of those athletes are on salary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what they want is they want to be working. They want to be able to work whatever their scope is for X amount of dollars. And the organization wants to be able to get X amount of things from them since they're paying them this money. So that association helps battle between those types of things. But they're never going to sit there and say, well, you know, this football game is pretty dangerous. So we're going to change it to where we're just playing flag football.
Yeah.
Because that way everyone's safe. Although you might twist an ankle. So you have to do it at a walking pace. So walking pace flag football, let's go. $1 million salaries. You ready? Like, it's not going to happen. Like, it's sports. People get hurt. Again, not discarding what happened. So like that to me, like all of the emphasis on all of this stuff, I think I just feel like it's like it's a shooting off in all directions rather than after action report. Let's look and see what exactly happened. I mean, first off, what happened and how do we mitigate that? Mm-hmm. Not like we need to take Dave out because that will fix it all. No. And this isn't a Dave, Boz, whoever programmer thing. It's not that. It's not that. There was a foul up in the system somewhere. What was the foul up?
Yeah.
Figure that out. I mean, the other things that happen after that, if there are lawsuits or whatever, like, I mean, that's just the world that we're in. Like, there will always be a lawsuit, always. So,
yeah,
that just is what it is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just,
yeah, dude.
It sucks that it has to go down this way, and it's rip. What I fear is going to happen for these athletes is they're going to push back so hard from an organization, an association that doesn't have anything to stand on really anyway.
Yeah.
And then they're all going to lose their spot as a CrossFit athlete because it's like, all right, well then leave then. If you don't like what it is, then leave. And they're gone. And then what are they?
I know.
Like, what's their sport now? They've given 8 years to CrossFit, all the suffering and all the work and everything for that. And then it's like, okay, well, now what are you?
Yeah.
And that I just, it's really hard. I think everyone's put in a really weird position. I don't think that it is wrong for people to ask what the F happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and I mean, the people that will yell the loudest and have every right to yell the loudest will be the Jukic family, 100%. And I will never fault them for doing any of the things that they do because that was their son, brother, boyfriend that died. But everybody else, like, what really are you yelling about? If you want change, then you better say what the change is. To say to be transparent, again, I want us all to we should have adequate time to see what's going on. Well, you had adequate, like, what does that mean? Give me some days, hours.
Yeah. What is the
months?
actual? Yeah.
You know, we need someone on the, like, say it's got to be, if you want change, you have to be specific. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just yelling at the trees, I think.
Yeah, because that goes back to my question that I asked. Do you think that right now the emotional athletes can make the professional decisions when it comes to this organization? And I think you just answered that. Like, right, the emotions are still very, very high. And if it's not going to come from a place of specifics, like, get very clear. And I think that we're learning that too. And I think that for me, coming out of this leftist bubble that I was in of feeling like that all the time, is that it gives you an opportunity to ask more questions and to think about something first before you just start to say it. Oh,
hey, Spin, what's up?
hi, Spin.
All right. As we wrap this up, 5 minutes, guys. If you want to throw some questions in the comments for Bill, I'll pull them up, or for anybody for that matter. Yo, Vindicate, what's good, dude? Hopefully I'll see you on Friday, bro. I have to text you. I have to text Carl too.
Thank you for our stuff. We got it today.
We got it all today. So we're super pumped. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Bill, tell Chase we need Pukey shirts. We've been trying to order Pukey shirts for like
we need
2
Pukey
months.
Shirts.
Okay.
And they're not on the site anymore. So we need Pukey shirts bad.
Okay.
Because I love those shirts.
Yeah.
They're sick.
They're cool.
They're so cool.
I wanted to get an OG shirt too,
the
but
real
I don't
Methy,
think they're
what's
on
up,
there.
dude? I gotta talk to you again too. You gotta go back on Kill Taylor. Like that. Where were you last week? They were actually asking for you last week. You should have been there. It was like some crazy 18, 16 something minute workout. That was ridiculous.
That was a long. Yeah, I was surprised he did that. It's like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna be on the show for 5 hours trying to get a couple people to do this.
I think he was just so pissed at those 5 minute, those like 3 in a row. Would he lose like 2 or 3 in a row or something like that?
Yeah.
And he was like, screw it, I'm just gonna throw every movement with like.
Well, 50. It's like, okay, you're just gonna have to go to dumb land. Like he can do that. Like he's so good at that, and most people don't want that amount of pain. They can do it for 5 minutes, but can they do it for 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was awesome. And when he was like, I was gonna jump over the rower, and then I was like, no, nope, I'm gonna step over the rower. I was like, oh, sweet.
Hold on. I was gonna say there's a very important question.
Jonathan Ortega, Bill, how do you stay so handsome?
It's smoke and mirrors, bro. Smoke and mirrors.
We were talking about this.
I have the lighting set up here just perfect.
He does.
Perfect.
I have the filters on, you know. No.
We were just talking about this yesterday where I was like, when she was making the thumbnail, I was like, God, I was like, Bill is really handsome. I was like, he is like, but that rugged handsome, like he's going to build a whole house for you handsome. And then Chase is like, what the freak's his name? He's like GQ handsome. He's like, he goes and gets his.
Did you say Ryan Seacrest?
Ryan Seacrest handsome. Yeah. For sure.
I'll take that. I do. It's funny. I tell my youngest daughter all the time, something will come up. And she'll be like, Dad, I want you to, make this weird sound. And like, I don't know, she's like screaming and she's like, I want you to see it. I'm like, man, I don't do that. Like, your dad's a man. Okay. Like I'm a man. Okay. I'm a man. Like, that's how it is. So it's like,
and nobody, I did not say that Chase is gay handsome. I did not say that. That is not what I said. I just said that he moisturizes. That's all I said. Allegra, I'm pulling this up. I know it's not a question, but you're always here for us. Thank you, girl. Gotta say, I find it respectful to the athletes that are being quiet. It's so loud out there right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but these athletes acting like they were BFFs make me cringe.
You want to know my first response to all of the things that my first immediate response? The second I started seeing everybody dumping on Instagram and saying all of their thoughts and all of their I'm sorries and all of the things that they said, the immediate one, I was like, and I mean, Sevon's group, when we were saying this a lot too, but it's like it had nothing to do with Lazar at the time. Because if they really cared about him, like I would think it would be much more personal and be taken as much more of a show of respect. If you guys had something go down, instead of me putting on Instagram and be like, hey, Glintons, I just wanted to say blah, 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 blah. Or if I texted you guys directly, hey, I'm sorry. I feel terrible about what happened. Like that to me is like, I care about you and I care what happened. The other thing does not show that.
Yeah.
That's me thinking, hey, everybody, look at me. Look at how much I care. So I appreciate what Allegra was saying. I felt the exact same way. Everyone that jumps on board, right, to do whatever and just start announcing and shouting at the rooftops about whatever the thing is, I think that they really are not really thinking about what it is that they're doing or what they're trying to do, and that's just too bad. I mean, I don't think they're trying to be mean out of it, but I think like they are not doing really what they think that they are doing by doing that. It's just sad.
ET, you guys probably talked about this, but I don't understand why the athletes are upset by Dave saying they valued the athletes. I don't understand why the athletes are upset by Dave saying they value the athletes' input. Dave, okay, I get it.
It's
all right.
yep.
Dave even said not 100% of people would agree with the decision.
It doesn't matter what they would have done. If they would have cut the games, there would have been athletes that would have been pissed. If they would have continued, there would have been athletes that would have been pissed. If they would have made it an exhibition, there would have been athletes that would have been pissed. Like it doesn't, you're never going to, whenever you make a decision, it's always going to step on somebody, always. The one thing, I like, in all reality, I'm shocked that Dave even did the whole survey thing and got all the input. Like I can appreciate it, but I am shocked that he actually did that. I think that he would be like, this is the direction that we're going. We'll talk to you guys afterwards if you wanted to have a discussion about it. You know, we feel bad about what happened, but we have to keep going. We have to do this has to go. If you don't want to do it, fine. But and the fact that they decided to do that was, I mean, that was monumental, I think, in the fact that people are blowing that off and not really understanding what they got. Like, they didn't have to do that at all. I thought it was cool that they did.
All right. Well, this turned into something that I didn't expect, but I totally have another show for the next time that
Perfect.
That you want to come back and can I tell you too, you're like my favorite type of texter or DMer. It's like I DM you and then like when you started texting me back right away, I was like, wait, what is happening right now? This is not our relationship. I DM you, I wait 48 hours, you DM me back.
48 plus hours, yeah.
I DM you right away, and then I wait 5 days, and then I get the response, and we set up a time. Like, you're my favorite. You're my favorite type of texter. I love it. It's going to freak me out if you answer me back right away.
Right away.
If you see it, just leave me on red.
I got it.
Get
me
the
like,
same feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll do.
Because that was the first interaction that you and I had when I first asked you to come on last time. Then you saw it and I was like, cool. Then you were like, shit, I forgot that I saw this and blah, blah, blah. Like I was like, oh, okay. He's like the rest of us. You open something and then get distracted by something else. Oh, I'll answer it later.
That is my world, man. Are you kidding me? I get distracted to get distracted into something else that I get distracted by.
Welcome.
There was one you're like, I thought I answered this, and then I realized I didn't. And so here's your answer.
Yep.
And I was like, sweet.
Yep.
So where are you going next? Yeah.
Well, hold on.
I'm actually
right up. And just to get Bill's thoughts on this.
Vindicate.
If you are mad at the games continued, you damn well better not be posting photos of your performance.
You're right.
Oof.
Right. You know what's funny is even stuff like that I saw. I
honestly
gave a lot of people a lot of grace when it came, because like these athletes, dude, when have they ever seen any sort of death or been around any of it? I don't think that they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what they're supposed to do. This is a weird time to like be learning about how to deal with this stuff right now anyway, you know? So I think that I do honestly believe that on the surface, they think that they're doing something that is the right thing without understanding what it is that they're really doing. I mean, there's a lot of things we do that subconsciously we think we're doing it for this reason, but subconsciously it's a whole nother reason why we're doing it. But I agree, man. I agree that it's a little trippy. Whatever.
Everybody's figuring it out, and it's going to take longer than 2 weeks to process. Vindicate. Yeah. Bill, you should go to Crash Crucible.
Okay, so check it out. I have in September, I'm going to NCC. I'm going to be emceeing, so I'll be on the floor emceeing. That'll be kind of fun. I've done that since those guys started, either commentating for them or emceeing for them, which is awesome. I'm doing the wheel wad, the CrossFit Games for the adaptive. Me and Jeremy are doing that in San Antonio, and then me and John Young
Oh, that'll be fun.
Are going to be doing Crash.
That's going to be amazing.
So fun.
So yeah, so that'll be in October. Stoked.
I'm ready. I can't wait. I can't even tell you how much the last couple of days seeing you and Chase back on Get With The Programming just kind of, it again was like that big, gigantic sigh of like, okay, the world is spinning again, like a little bit at least.
You know, it was really strange. It was, so here we are talking about like the teams programming and stuff like that. And as we're coming towards our end, Matt Souza's just going off on his podcast. Sevon's going off. And I kind of sat back afterwards and I was like, man, I feel like we were just in the little kid play box and sandbox, and everyone else was like in the big pool. And it's like, are we supposed to be saying something? Or I don't really know if we're supposed to say anything. And that was funny.
I thought the same thing. That's why I was like, I had so many other things to talk about like today. And then I was like, okay, well, here we are.
Like I said, I will always talk. There is nobody that has restricted me on what I can talk about. I don't work for CrossFit. I own my CrossFit gym, and I get on a podcast with Chase, and occasionally we'll put earmuffs on them, and I can say my piece there. But like I can say whatever I want to say. So I like to talk, and the thing is, I think that's important.
No,
that's one.
Really?
That is one thing that like all the people in our locker room group. I think everyone in that group, because we can get heated in our group, but yet we can all discuss things.
That's so cool.
Whatever side we're on. And I think that we have all gotten a lot better at that because of that, which has been awesome. So I love, there's a lot of things I love about that group, but like I love that aspect of that group is I think we've all become much better communicators where we can discuss things, and Taylor can say that you're whatever bad word type of person he wants to call you or whatever, and then you could be like, yeah, dude, okay, it's cool.
Then he'll send you a butt picture, right?
Totally. And then it's all fine.
I know. I gotta text him and tell him that we need those exerciser video whatever thing to come out. So
no, thank you.
Oh, it's funny. Oh, we lost you. Where'd she go? Technical difficulties. Can you hear me? Colleen, can you hear me? Can anybody else hear me?
Sorry. I don't know. The internet must have just done something.
So if she leaves,
I didn't touch anything. I swear.
The road is connected to her computer. So I don't get kicked out, but you can't hear anything.
So, I got it. Okay.
Exerciser, and the whole computer just.
Oh, it's funny.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Jay Sizzle, what's up? Renata, what's going on?
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
and Bill, always thank you so much.
We really
anytime.
We always enjoy
your perspective
on life,
everything.
Everything. You know what I mean? So very excited to have the next conversation, because I really would like to dive into that conversation that you put together, babe.
Yeah, I know.
Men and women's sports and all that kind of stuff. So
totally. Yeah. I was all excited to have those conversations.
I know, like, me too. I don't know how we got here.
What do you mean you don't know? It's the only elephant in the room right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Like what else is that it would be like me and Chase talking about team programming. We should talk about we should make that 60 rope climbs or
Sorry, Kenneth. We'll get to hogs next time.
No, not hogs. We did that already. We can talk about something else or whatever. But hey, listen, you got to hang out in the sandbox. You were invited to the adult table to have adult conversations.
You made me feel like an adult. I appreciate it.
There you go. That's what we're here for.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys, for hanging out. We'll see you on the next go round.
Bye, guys.
Deuces. That was fun.